been several columns written recently about the situation in Florida when it comes to COVID-19, as opposed to the Northeast, which is now known as Warsaw Pact West, especially New York State, but also Massachusetts, et cetera, et cetera. And one of them was written by Dave Seminara, and he's a columnist for the Wall Street Journal. And he's also the author of a new book, Footsteps of Federer, which is available for pre-order on that company that we've been talking about today, which you might want to use BarnesandNoble.com, barnesandnoble.com, or just wait till it comes out in your local bookstore. But he just moved to Florida recently with his family. And this is a message to the haters from Florida man. The pandemic has taken a toll here, but the per capita COVID-19 death rate in Florida is 23rd in the country, well behind strict lockdown states like New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Illinois, Michigan, and many others. As a parent to boys in 5th and 7th grades, I thank God that their education isn't being hijacked by blue state liberals who take their marching orders from the teachers union. There is no state individual income tax here in Florida, and the tax foundation rates the state's business tax climate the 4th best in the country. There's much more in this column. It's a great column in the Wall Street Journal today. Dave Seminara, thanks for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show.
Howie, thank you so much for having me back on the show and for that great introduction.
You know, I thought that you were taking your cue, and so was Carol Markowitz in the New York Post today. Hers is Florida puts New York to shame in rational pandemic policies. You see the press conferences that Governor Ron DeSantis has down here in Florida, and you got these reporters for these papers seem angry that the state is not locked down, even though I'm sure their papers are more financially healthy because of it. Not to mention the mental health in the state is better. But they're angry, and they keep asking him, why aren't you locking the state down? And why do we have all these infections, which doesn't mean you're going to die. It just means you test positive. And he came up with something 2 or 3 weeks ago. He said it at one of these press conferences, if the state of Florida is doing such a bad job, how come everybody wants to move down here from all those states that you think are doing such a great job? Right. I thought that was a perfect answer.
Yeah. Well, Howie, this is, I tried to approach the topic in a very broad way in the column. I touched on a lot of different things, but, the media thinks we're really stupid down here. Let's be honest, is that we're attacked in the media and really around the country as sort of a laughing stock state. We're a joke state. And, a lot of people just assume we are the country's stupidest state. And I really thought, after living here for a year and a half, I felt it was unfair. So I looked at so many different metrics, not just COVID infection rates, but all kinds of different metrics: high school dropout rates, SAT scores, percentage of people with a college degree, accidental deaths, corruption, crime, you name it. And we're not last or near last in any category. And I started to develop more and more information about this. And I thought, well, this is a total joke. And in fact, we're not anywhere near the dumbest state in America. And, I hate to pick on any other states, but I would say, for example, by all the achievable metrics, Delaware, for example, is a lot dumber than we are.
Well, I mean, look at who they elected to the Senate for all those years. Speaks for itself.
Exactly. Like, for example, accidental death rate, for example. This is one I looked at. Florida is nowhere near the bottom of accidental death rates. And Delaware, for example, has a much higher accidental death rate, Howie. And I don't know if that's because people like to chase the tails of German shepherds there and pull them, or if that's just Joe Biden who does stuff like that. What do you think?
I was talking to a friend of mine who was down here from Boston, who was down here this weekend. And do you know what he was doing down here, Dave? He was house hunting. He was doing his I don't know how. I'm sure you have people like that. You run into people. They're not down there for vacations anymore, or the vacation and they're house hunting at the same time because they can't wait to get out of all of these states, not just New York State.
And they're coming here to get vaccines too. We've got vaccine tourists because it's easier to get them here supposedly than it is up north.
Right.
Listen, Howie, to that point, I got a statistic that I dug out here. I actually added all these up myself, but over the last 10 years, Florida has had a higher net migration than all 25 of the states that voted for Joe Biden combined.
I know. I read that.
That says it all, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
My friend who flew back last night, he called me this morning and he said that on the plane back, everybody to Boston, everybody was bitching and moaning, saying, "Oh my God, why do we have to go back?" And then you step off the plane, and immediately these announcements from the loudspeaker. It used to be, "Welcome to Boston, the cradle of liberty, home of the world champion Red Sox and New England." Now it's, "There is a COVID lockdown going on. Contact tracers will meet you at the baggage claims." And it's like, again, like you're entering an Iron Curtain country. And they wonder why people are checking out.
You love it here, Howie.
What?
I know you love it. I know you love it down here, Howie. I actually thought about you when I was writing this column, to be honest with you. But hey, one thing though, anybody who listens to your police blotter though every Friday afternoon, as I do,
yeah.
I mean, you got to admit, though, there are a lot of Florida man stories. So I kind of had to get past that because, listen, I hear about all this crime going on down here in Florida, weird crime, just from listening to your police blotter every Friday that I wouldn't have even known about otherwise. I mean, we do produce a lot of funny news stories down here, but I swear we are not America's dumbest state.
Right. Well, as you quoted Dave Barry as saying, they do have an unusually large percentage of low IQ people doing stupid things, frequently naked. I mean, but that has something to do with the climate. You know, Carolyn Markowitz in the New York Post said today that she got warning. She flew into Palm Beach International last week. Her friend said, "Be careful down there. No one wears a mask." I don't think I don't think her friends understood. That's one of the reasons why she was going down to Florida. In Florida, we saw the smiling faces of strangers for the first time in 9 months. It's hard to overstate how much that mattered to our well-being and the feeling of normality. There's also the element of pandemic fatigue. It's a lie, though, that Floridians aren't taking the coronavirus seriously. What they have done is discard the policies that don't work while retaining the ones that do. That's it. That's it exactly.
Oh, I think so. I mean, I think, let's be honest, when all those photos of spring breakers here in Florida went viral back in March, as I mentioned in the column, I was getting messages from friends of mine, even in other countries, who were like, "Oh my gosh, you idiots in Florida, what on earth are you doing?" I mean, the media sort of relishes stupid Florida stories. But the thing is, I think they really wanted something awful to happen to us down here. They wanted there to be a ton of COVID tests. I'm just going to be blatant because they wanted to look at us and be like, "Look at these idiots down in Florida. They're partying and now they've got the highest COVID rate."
Well, remember the columnist for the Miami Herald said she hoped that all the supporters of Donald Trump and Governor DeSantis and the mayor of Miami, who's also a Republican, would all get COVID and die. And again, her newspaper is in bankruptcy. It's owned by McClatchy,
wow.
which is basically a zombie company, and she's hoping that it gets worse. I don't get it.
Oh, Howie, I do have to also apologize. I did take one. I don't know if it's a cheap shot, but I did take one shot at Massachusetts in your column. I don't know if you noticed it.
Which, let's see.
About the driving. About the bad drivers.
Right.
Now, Florida drivers are kind of legendary, that they're some of the worst drivers in the country. But supposedly, according to the statistics, Massachusetts has the most at-fault accidents per capita of any state in the country.
Yeah, you called us smarty pants, Massachusetts. I didn't take that as an insult. I just thought you were dealing with reality.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The only thing I will say about Massachusetts, though, is that the traffic is way down now because of the lockdowns, whereas it's more normal in Florida. And Florida tends to slow down a lot in rain because of the elderly drivers, I think, personally. But, again, I think I think there's a reason why Florida is becoming, such a magnet, even more so than it has been in the past.
I love it here. I think it's a wonderful state. We're not the most corrupt state. We are not the most obese state. We don't have the most smokers. There's all kinds of wonderful things about Florida. We're not near the last of any ranking. In fact, we are near the top in a lot of rankings, surprisingly.
Yeah, I know. It's and DeSantis. I hope DeSantis runs for president in 2024.
Me too.
He would be a great candidate.
He's already pissed off all of the right people, hasn't he? All the people that I really dislike absolutely hate him.
You know, that would be a good lead for a column by you or me or anybody. You know, Ron DeSantis has pissed off all the right people. Yeah.
He has. They despise the man.
Yeah, and they just get so angry. You don't see the Palm Beach Post, the Palm Beach Daily News. They're so angry about Donald Trump moving back here. Liz, let me read you the headline on today's front page or yesterday's. Mar-a-Lago revelers ignore virus protocols, and then what they don't put in, and they didn't get sick or die, the bastards. You know, Mar-a-Lago's indifference to enforcing public health protocols to control the coronavirus is revealed on social media. Oh no! Oh no!
The hatred is it's palpable, isn't it?
It is. We sat next to him for 40 minutes, one visitor said of the president. He said it was going to be bad, but nobody really knew it was the worst kind of bad. Was it really the worst kind of bad, Dave? I wonder about that. Anyway, it's a great column. And what's the title of your new book that people can order?
It's called Footsteps of Federer. It's about traveling around Switzerland in search of all kinds of things about Roger Federer. It's a really funny book. Check it out.
That's good. And you don't have to order it on that company that starts with an A that's trying to shut Parler down. You can order it on bn.com.
You can order it from Barnes & Noble. You can also order it from independent bookstores too, even better.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's even better. Yeah. I'm getting my used books from there's these used book sites. You don't have to go to Amazon. Go to the used book sites. You don't have to order Amazon off the publishers. The publishers all have their own websites. You don't have to patronize people who are trying to put us out of business. Dave Seminara, thanks for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show. It's a great column. It's in the weekend Wall Street Journal. With the incoming administration barging their way into office, this may cause some economic disturbance. Tax laws are going to change. Your tax burden on selling real estate will grow. Don't get caught flat-footed and squander the equity in your real estate that you've built up over the course of years or maybe even decades. Sell today with J.J. Manning. For over 40 years, J.J. Manning has been the leading auction house in New England. From high-end homes to estates to commercial properties throughout New England, J.J. Manning can get your property sold fast and contingency-free. There is a big reason why Mass Lawyers Weekly voted J.J. Manning #1 for 4 consecutive years. Because they have a huge following of bidders who pay cash. When you sell with a broker, you pay the commission. But in an auction, the buyer pays. This is a treacherous time in the real estate market. Commercial property, at least in New England, is down. Residential property outside the cities is up. But inside the cities, forget about it. It's tough to figure out which way to turn. To learn more on how to get your property sold fast, contact Charlie Gill at jjmanning.com. With over 16,000 sales and satisfied clients, you could be the next one. Call them today at 800-521-0111 or go to jjmanning.com to get your property sold. 800-521-0111. I'm Howie Carr.
Follow Howie on Twitter @Howie Carr Show. You won't regret it.